Welcome to our presentation, Gun Rights in America. In this presentation, we will explain how the Constitution breathed life into the idea of gun ownership, along with current laws, court decisions, and the public's opinion on the matter. We will also be comparing the U.S. to other countries on gun issues. The United States Constitution gives all citizens the right to bear arms, and specifically states that it shall not be infringed upon. This right is listed in the Second Amendment and is there to help states keep and regulate a state militia. Gun violence is a very prevalent issue within the United States. It is quite often that a mass shooting occurs, frequently causing deaths, as well as a lot of suicides. While some states are making stricter laws, others are expanding gun rights, which has left the country divided. The Firearm Owners Protection Act of 1986 restricts the federal government from creating a national gun registry, protects gun owners when transporting firearms across state lines under specific conditions, and limits ATF inspections of gun dealers. After the Sandy Hook school shooting, President Barack Obama released a plan proposing to make it much harder for someone to get a gun and use it. The proposed plan promoted gun safety, requiring background checks on gun owners, and proposed mental health services for those who needed it. D.C. v. Heller is a 2008 Supreme Court case. In this case, the court ruled that the Second Amendment protects someone's rights to have a firearm for lawful purposes, like self-defense. The case was critical to striking down D.C.'s gun ban and said the government cannot completely ban possessions of handguns. The public's opinion on gun rights is still very divided. According to Pew Research, about 57% of Americans say gun laws should be stricter, while 32% say they're about right, and 10% think they should be less strict. The general population supports background checks, but it is still very split otherwise. Switzerland is a good example of gun rights being possible with a high gun ownership yet low gun violence. They require all adult males to serve in the military, and many keep the guns they were given. Strict training and many checks and responsibility make sure to keep incidents low, which sets the bar for what could be accomplished in America. Brazil, on the other hand, has struggled with gun violence despite various efforts. The government has attempted to pass gun restrictions, but the enforcement for it has been weak. Illegal weapons are quite common, leading to high gun deaths, crime, instability, which are likely caused by a lack of effective policing. The National Rifle Association is a well-known group that has pro-gun ideals and donates millions of dollars to political campaigns. Most of their alignment is to the Republicans, and they argue against almost all gun restriction measures. They are prominent in promoting gun ownership as a personal right. The Second Amendment Foundation is another pro-gun rights group, but chooses to focus more on legal action, such as lawsuits, to challenge the many restrictions put on guns across the country. They mainly focus on defending the right to bear arms through courts, and have helped win several cases related to the Second Amendment. Texas, a very conservative state, has been vastly expanding its gun rights. In 2021, it passed a law that allowed people to carry a gun without a permit. Texas officials said that it supported personal freedom, but most critics agreed that this was a fundamental concern for public safety. California, a very liberal state, has some of the strictest gun laws in the United States, requiring background checks for purchases of ammo and many bans on assault rifles and high magazine guns. California is often passing new laws after shootings and is a strong promoter of gun violence research. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy proposed having universal background checks for all gun sales, which included private guns and gun show purchases. The bill was supported by the Senate and by voters, but has started to stall out due to filibusters and very strong opposition from gun rights activists. In 5 years, gun laws might start to be a little tighter, but most of that will likely be at the state level, with public pressure due to shootings. At a federal level, however, significant change is not likely due to deep political divides. The courts, though, will continue shaping gun rights through many Second Amendment cases. Thank you for listening. Our sources contain Pew Research Center articles on gun deaths and public opinion, key Supreme Court cases like D.C. versus Heller and McDonald versus Chicago, and an article from Swiss Info about Switzerland's approach to gun safety. We hope you enjoyed this presentation.